Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Dear President Spano, dear Commissioner Mijatovic, dear judges and former judges of the European Court on Human Rights and of many other courts, dear experts, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung, and particularly on behalf of the whole team of Konrad Adenauer Stiftung's Rule of Law Program Southeast Europe, I would also like to briefly welcome all of you, those physically present here, as well as all those connected to us gathered in different cities. Today's topic, COVID-19 and the European Convention on Human Rights, does not really need further explanation. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that certainty is a relative concept. It reminds us that the world around us is in constant flux. In order to fight this pandemic, states have been acting according to the principle, extraordinary times require extraordinary measures. And governments all over Europe have resorted to very tough measures, hitting hard the very fundamental human rights. But this fact alone does not mean that these measures per se are violating human rights guaranteed by the Convention, as long as they are reasonable and proportional. Such a test of reasonableness and proportionality can only be done properly if we understand the underlying context. Liberal democracies, which adhere to the rule of law principle, have made a profound and humane choice to preserve as many lives as possible. Governments have to answer how to implement this decision while also preventing economic collapse and staying true to our democratic values and protecting human rights. There can also be a dark side, to quote one recent article in The Guardian, as it rightly remarks, namely, our willingness to accept sacrifice leaves us vulnerable to the insidious threat of creeping authoritarianism. Some countries are spying on their citizens to enforce quarantine laws, or even locking up their citizens' residents in homes to stop the spread of the virus. Other countries have suspended the usual democratic protections and are now ruling by decree. The European Convention on Human Rights allows many of our freedoms to be restricted in response to a public health emergency, but each restriction must be reasonable, necessary, and proportionate to the threat. Emergency restrictions must be temporary, with genuine independent oversight. So we need to combat COVID-19 strongly and effectively, but also consistently with our values of fairness, equality, and justice. This pandemic reminds us how delicate it is to establish a fair balance between individual human rights and the public interest, and how we always have to adjust our scales in order to get a fair and just outcome. We're meeting here today in Germany, in the direct neighborhood of France. We have at the same time video connection of our forum to 7 cities in different Southeast European countries. At an event gathering judges from the European Court of Human Rights, including from Iceland, from Belgium, from the United Kingdom, from Germany, as well as many, if not most, Southeast European countries, with support of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, from Sweden, from the United Kingdom, and from Germany. Why do I state the obvious? To make a point that defending human rights in times of this worldwide crisis is not a merely academic topic. It is one that affects all citizens in all countries. What will be discussed in the next 2 days here is hopefully helping to shape a clearer view on the obligation on states and beyond the ongoing pandemic. Let me end by saying that we from Konrad Adenauer Stiftung are very thankful to our partners at the ERD Center and the Civil Rights Defenders for the excellent cooperation and their tireless work to prepare this forum. Many precautions have been taken. A decision was taken against the usual format of a large meeting with more than 200 participants at the same location. But to end on a positive note, this hybrid format of the event allows us to involve even more participants than in a classical setting. I'm truly relieved that this forum can take place at all and wish all of us a fruitful discussion in the next 2 days. Thank you very much.